value under the sun. The difference is your unique value. If you are an entrepreneur, an attorney, a CPA, an accountant, a web designer, a consultant, you need to become a market of one in today's new economy. Now, today I want to talk to you about how to become a market of one and capitalize on your unique value. A market of one is you as the unique value based on your unique experiences. You see, I call this the yes factor. The yes factor method takes an ordinary service and makes it more valuable, and then we create every step of your sales and marketing process so that you can launch or grow your business with confidence. Now, how many of you feel like you're in an overcrowded marketplace? Raise your hand. Yes, I see you. Yes, 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 I see you. How many of you feel like you're a copycat sometimes being in an overcrowded marketplace? Yes, 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 I see you. Well, for me, I've always had to find my yes factor. It started in college. The day my instructor said to me, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you'll have your college degree, the program is accredited. However, the bad news is you're probably going to have a hard time finding a job because of the new changes in Medicare. Mind you, I was stunned. Yes, you see the look on my face. Yes, I wasn't prepared. And mind you, there were 20 other new graduates waiting to apply for some of the same jobs that I was going to apply for. So I really had to find my yes factor and create my unique value as a new grad. Now, fast forward. Sure enough, I graduated from school and I could not get a job. I had to go work through a temp agency. But mind you, while working at that temp agency, not a day went by that I wasn't checking the classified ads for a job opportunity as an occupational therapist assistant. You see, I never wanted to be in the position where I was unhappy doing something that I did not love and paying for a career that I could not enter. And so daily, I'm checking the paper, I'm calling. And finally, I had a great opportunity. Now, it wasn't the opportunity to be a traditional employee, it was the opportunity for me to become an independent contractor as a therapist. So, you see, here's what I want you to think about for me. Never sit in your comfort zone and making it a dream to find happiness. Most people sit in comfort and dream about happiness. I decided that I wanted to launch an ergonomics consulting company. Went to do the training, got everything I needed to advance what I had already learned from school. And again, I need to find my yes factor. I had to do the marketing, I had to do the sales, and I had to do the job. But I had three strikes upon me. Number one, I didn't learn anything about marketing and sales in school. Strike one. Number two, the corporate consultants were only for the corporate clients, corporate companies at the time, because they were too expensive for the little person like me. Strike number two. Number three, I had no time to go get an MBA because right then and there, I needed an NBN, need business now training so that I can get the money rolling in. Strike number. The next week at 6 a.m., I was up, getting dressed, getting the kids out of the door, heading to the airport, landed in Atlanta, waited for him. We sat down, we had my 1 hour consultation. I paid him his consulting fee. I was back on to Miami. I was really trying to figure this thing out because I wanted the money coming in. But when I got back home, it felt like, it felt so overwhelming. It all began to feel like another language that I didn't understand because it was just so much thrown at me. It was like a fire hose of information that was just so overwhelming for me because it was all new for me. But I gave myself a pep talk that day and I said, Kay, you gotta figure this out and you can do this. Lead me into the conference room. I sit down, I bring out all my stuff, and I'm laying out my presentation. I begin. Halfway through my presentation, he says, Kay, thank you. We've heard enough. I'm like, what? And I have this look on my face like, but I'm not finished. You interrupted me. And so I got myself together, although I'm like, what just happened? Like, I wasn't even finished here. So I get in my car. And can I tell you, that felt like the longest ride home for me. So I pulled myself together and I'm like, hey, you gotta figure this out. This is your means to an end, or you gotta either go find a regular job or go back to the temp agency. There are three things that I learned that every business must get right that determines their yes factor. Number one, define your core. Number two, define a way to captivate your audience's attention. And number three, you gotta be able to convert. So let's go back to number one, the concept of the core. The core is about three main areas: the problem that you solve, the people you solve it for, and what I define as the $1,000,000 message that's going to bring them to pay close attention to you. So I get my confidence back together and I'm like, okay, I got this, I got this. So the next car comes up to the stop sign. I said, put a smile on your wife's face with this flower. Wouldn't you like to make your wife smile with this beautiful flower? It's for sale. The guy looks over and says, how much? I say, 50 cents, sir. He says, let me have one. And I'm like, holy crap. He says, keep the change. Thank you, sir. I'm like, I did it. That $1 felt like $100. I had money to buy my crossword book. I had money to buy me one pack of sunflower seeds and maybe one 5-cent pack of Now and Laters. I'm doing fabulous. I'm so excited for my grandmother to get home, so she can be proud of me. Like, grandma, look what I did. I sowed flour today. And she was like, great job, baby. She was like, well, tell me what you do. I was like, you know what? I grabbed your mason jars. I cut some flowers off the tree. I had to stand there a few times, but, And she was like, girl, do not take any more of my mason jars. I'm like, okay. So here's my takeaway for the core of the Yes Factor method. Number one, you have to solve a very specific problem. Number two, you have to speak to a specific person. Number three, you got to create a $1,000,000 message. And number four, do not sell any more of my grandmother's mason jars. So there you have it. The first step in the Yes Factor method, starting with your core that sets your foundation so that you can excel and start getting to the yes.